Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a Web 2.0 style header with stripes in GIMP. And if you don't know what stripes are, I'll show you in a minute. They're basically you get a shiny gradient look with stripes going down the header. And it makes it look pretty nice. And after we create the stripes, you can decorate it with images, reflective words, or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So we've got GIMP open already, and it's dependent on how big you want your header. So in this case, I'm going to go to File, New, and I usually make my width about 700. Some people do 700 or 750, and my height is normally about 150. Now, the next thing you want to do is you can minimize this, or move this down a little bit, is you want to click on this color area here. Now, it depends on what color you want to have the gradient, because what we're going to do next is create a gradient. So whatever choices that you pick, you want to make sure the background here is darker than the foreground. So when you make the gradient, it goes from dark to light. So in this case, I'm going to make the header blue, so I'm going to make it a dark blue that I can find. And then on top of that, I'll have the foreground, and I'll click this, and I'll want to make something that is light blue, such as this, or even something lighter. And once we're done with that, I'll go back to that panel, or the image that we created, and what I'll do is click on the gradient tool, as you can see here. Then I'm going to go from the bottom to the top and click that. So as you can see here, it's darker at the top and it's lighter at the bottom. Now the second thing you want to do is make a new layer, because what we're going to do is create the stripes. So we'll go ahead and layers, click new layer, and then what we can do is you can name it whatever you want to do. I'll call it the stripes layer, just so it makes it easier for you. Go ahead and press OK, move this aside a bit, and then what I want to do is click on this bucket fill tool, and I'll scroll down a bit, click on the pattern fill, and then click on that pattern, and then I'll go ahead and find the stripes here, and it's called the warning because you often see it on the warning signs, but actually we're gonna use it for the stripes purpose in this video. And of course, immediately after you choose that stripes, click on here, and then we have this. Now don't worry, right now it looks like the warning sign. However, we're actually going to make it more transparent so that you can actually see the stripes itself. So the next thing you want to do is you want to click on this colors drop down menu. If you click on colors and then color to alpha, that'll allow you to change the colors in this area. But in this section, you want to click this button here, and you want to change this to FFF000, and here's why. Once you do that and press OK, this will allow it to make it transparent. So if we do that, once we do that, go immediately to the layers area and click on that stripes layer, and it's probably already going to be chosen, but what you want to do is decrease this down. See how that goes? You're making it transparent. So as you decrease the opacity down to 7, 10, or anything like that, you can begin to actually see the color of that header come out. So it's really up to you. I mean, you could stick with 4, 5, or 6. Just play around it a little bit. You just don't want to make it look like this. So as long as you can see it something like this, that's good enough. So there's no real set number that you can play with, just play around with it and keep it that way. Okay, great. So now that you have, think of it, a layer on top of another layer, now what we want to do is make it gradient look like, so it's like dark on the outside and lighter on the inside, so it's more transparent. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to the toolbar, as you can see here, and I'm going to go back to the gradient button here, and I'll choose this, change it from foreground to background to foreground to transparent. And once you do that, do the exact same thing you did earlier from the bottom to the top. And as you can see here, we've got the stripes on the top and not as many stripes on the bottom, so that you have sort of a transition. And there we go, we've completed a Web 2.0 header with stripes. Now you can add things to this. You can even use what I taught you earlier in the video series, such as, creating text and having reflective text on there, or you can go ahead and add other pictures to it. So let's say, for example, that you want to add text. If I go to here and click on text, and then I choose the text that I want, and I want to pick something that goes straight up in the air, not something slanted. Perhaps something like this, or even this. And make sure it's about size 30 or more, and then I'll click on an area here, and I could say something like flu prevention, and I could change the color of it to white, and I can move it around. And let's say I want to make a reflection of this. I can go ahead and do that by going to the layers box and making a duplicate layer of that layer. So I'll click that and right click and click on duplicate layer. And then if it's duplicated, then you'll notice this. And then all I do is flip it using that mirror tool, flip it, and then I can go back to the layer tool and change the opacity, of course, as you know already. And I can just move that with the move tool. And there we go. So that's pretty easy, wasn't it? And you can go ahead and add other pictures too if you like. But we'll keep it at that. And you can go ahead and save it and add other material, and that's how to create a Web 2.0 header with stripes.